big green plastic see-through bag because they've got one bag and it's 20 kilo. And so they make them undo it in front of the whole world and put half their stuff, and it's see-through, into a bag and tie it up, and then they've got 2 things of 10. Now, maybe they weren't told, or maybe they didn't read the fine print, but the whole world knows. I'm telling you now, you've got no excuse. No matter what your site says, go with 10 kilos if it's a charter flight, right? If you're going on a big kick-ass plane to Newman or Laverton or something, that those rules still may apply. So just assume I can bring 2 bags, but they're 10 kilos, or can I? Try and find out before you go.
I've been in mining for 13 years, and then I get a job over in WA, fly in, fly out, and I know there's a lot of people that like change state and never done FIFO. Like I put all my shit in my car and drive.
Exactly.
So
that'd be a rude shock.
But now you go into a new site.
Ask. People will help you. Don't be scared to say, look, it's first time on this site, if you don't want to say first time on any site ever, which is still fine. You say, what do you do at the other end? Or find out before you fly home, how much time have we got? You may or may not have time for a shower. Some sites are really whip. Like,
so you finish work, get on the bus, get on the plane, go.
Yes. Normally they take you back to camp, but there's not a lot of time. Some of them.
Camp,
Others, there's plenty of time. So you need to know that. But what I would do is always get your stuff ready the night before so that if there's not a lot of time, you're ready to go. You don't be rushing around.
Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumzie, and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, how does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. How do I get a job doing that? My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumzie journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig. Mining. Crack me up. Hello, this is another happy hour episode, and this time I'm sitting down in person in real life with my real sister, the other half of Steel Cap Sisters, my blister, hard hat mentor, also known as Drewie Mad. Check her out on LinkedIn. If you want to find her, I'll share all the links in the show notes, which will be found at madmumzie.com/beers84. So this is an interesting one because I kind of shanghaied her. Come on in. No, you're saying too many good things. So come and sit down and I'll hit record. So that's what we did. But there's a little bit of a backstory. I won't share the whole thing because we're going to do a podcast episode about that. And in case you didn't know, where you been living? We have another podcast called What Boots. So search for that. And especially if you enjoyed our conversation today, listen to us too, chilling out, having a yarn, sharing gold, dropping from the ceiling. But so Dione, my sister, hasn't been here being Queensland since about a year before COVID, I think. I don't know, it feels like forever, right? But we do Zoom calls. Sometimes they go for 4 or 5 hours. Phone calls, it feels like we see each other. We're so connected. Just to be able to give her a hug and see her smile and see her whole body, everything, just so good. Was amazing, but unfortunately, we both ended up with COVID. However, instead of only spending 1 or 2 nights together, we ended up having 9 full days in isolation. And it was kind of bittersweet, it was great that we got so much time together, but we were also crook. We weren't really bad, but, you know, don't get me wrong, we weren't perfect or anything. We did have COVID. We definitely had COVID brain frog, as she calls it. Not brain fog, brain frog, because I've got frog stuff here everywhere. Oh, my God. And so we ended up starting, you know, me and my list. So I started writing a list down about it, which is the sort of thing we're going to share when we do our podcast together. So I won't go into all that too much. But, yeah, it's tricky because it was great that we got to spend more time together than planned, but we didn't do any of the things that we wanted to, really. We took a few photos of our feet, which is, you know, part of our Steel Cap Sisters brand. But it was while we were binging on Netflix and catch-ups of The Apprentice and the Northern Territory the Northern Territory Croc Hunter and MasterChef and stuff like that. So we had a bit of a routine going in the end. So we were sitting outside on a beautiful Queensland morning. The weather was amazing. You know, it was fresh, don't get me wrong, it was cold. And it got freezing after she left. We had an Arctic chill. Went down to, you know, 5 degrees and stuff. But that's why we put up with the hot, humid summers, is to have beautiful winters where the days go up to, you know, in the mid-20s and down to 5 to 7 at its lowest here in central Queensland. Anyway, so we're sitting outside in the sun and I don't even know how it come up. We're having a cuppa. It was a Sunday morning and I think she was talking about packing or about, you know, what to bring and how much you bring when you go away and everything. And then she said, well, I've got real good at it because of flying in and flying out. And then she started saying about what she does with her shampoo and conditioner, you know, decants it into a little thing. I'm like, nah, come on, let's go inside. We'll go inside. I'll hit record. I can edit it. It's all good. And because one of my courses over at mining.teachable.com, I have a section all about Dido, so drive in, drive out, and I share a video series that I created in there, lots of tips and hints and stuff. And I've wanted to get something from my sister about FIFO, fly in, fly out, because I don't do that. So therefore I'm not an expert, but I do have connections and she's one of them. And so I said, just come in, we'll talk it through and then I'll just transcribe it and, you know, put some pictures in and all the things and it can be part of my course. And who knows, if it's any good, we might release it. She's like, oh, God. And it was amazing. Oh, so there was a noise out there. I think it's a bat. Oh, critters everywhere at the moment. So that's what you're about to listen to. My sister shooting the breeze about fly in, fly out. And I was picking her brains too. So it's not just about packing. It's about what happens when you get to the airport, what happens when you get to camp, or when you get to the... Hang on, truck. I'll have another drink. What happens when you get to site and everyone goes all over the place? How do you know what bus to get onto? What are her tips about that? And yes, lots about weight limits and different planes, lots of stories around it, you know. She's been from 5-seater planes right up to the big ones going international. So I think that you are going to love this episode with my sister as much as we did. I've had great time editing it because I get to listen again. I actually listened one night after she left. I listened to it in bed because I missed her so much. Oh, my God. You clown. Yes. So here we go. This is Drewie, Hard Hat Mentor, and me, Mad Mumzie, Leanne, talking all about flying in and flying out. And she's in Western Australia too, don't forget. So there's the Queensland, West Australia differences. There's FIFO, Dido differences. But it still all can be very helpful. And you might think, well, I don't have to do that because I do drive in, drive out. I live in Queensland. But what if one day you might end up over in WA and you got to do the FIFO thing? You know, do you want to be one of those people she talks about where everyone on the plane knows that they're the newbie and they're doing it wrong? Because there's a way to get on and off the planes as well. Shit, I didn't know that. Anyway, you better listen. Okay. So I am here in person with my sister, my blister, my fellow steel cap sister, Drewie, also known as Dione to me, and your very own hard hat mentor. Hi, Blister.
G'day, Blister. Oh my God, we're together, yeah.
Yes, we are, and we were just sitting outside Sunday morning, having a cuppa, beautiful central Queensland autumn, I think it is, perfect morning. And as we do, we ended up talking about what she takes when she's FIFO, and it's something that I've wanted to get out of her brain for you listening or reading this inside the course about what she takes, because I was saying when I didn't have a permanent room, I had to take all my stuff all the time as well. And she said, yeah, but I only get 10 kilos, whereas I had a whole car to fill up and 4 trips, you know, that I could do. And then she started going into all of you getting better at travelling lighter, and that's when I'm like, right, come on, we need to record that. So,
yeah. Excuse my voice, a bit croaky at the minute. So yeah, it depends. I suppose it depends on needing to know what you're flying into. Do you have a permanent room is the first big question. Or do you have to, is there hot bedding? So meaning, you may have to do, which is pretty rare nowadays, you might have to do someone's on day shift, someone's on night shift. You may have a room where when you're not there, someone else is in there, but they have wardrobes where you get half a wardrobe that's locked that you can leave your stuff in. And there are other places where you may go in and you can leave your bag there in a big, locked up room. You can leave some stuff, but every time you come, you then get it out of the storage and take it to whatever room. So the goal in FIFO is permanent room, right? Because then you can have all your things and nest, and then you can leave and come back. But with the 10 kilo rule, you can, especially if you're a new starter, get permission to take 20 kilos or however much you need. Some of it may have to go as freight, but as long as you're aware that no matter what bags you take or how much, it's got to be 10 kilo lots. So take 2 bags of 10 kilos if they allow you to take 20 because you're a new starter or whatever. You can get pre-approval to take more than 10 kilos.
Oh, good.
But never in one bag. It doesn't matter if you're allowed to take 50 kilos. Never more than, if it's a big heavy toolbox or something, that then you got to go through a whole nother way to put it in as actual freight.
Oh, right. Yeah. I never even thought about toolboxes.
Yeah, well, a lot of people take their own tools, they're tradies and that. And so, the basic things for me, you never know, and usually you use your first swing to get the lay of the land, bit of a recce run. So you take your basic, what you'll need, maybe not all your nesting things, not your very special, your own pillow or your own blanket, if you've got a permanent room, or all the things that, some of the little things I've been caught out on is no coat hangers. There may or may not be coat hangers in said place to hang your stuff. No shower caddy, like, the thing where you hang over to put all your things on.
Yeah.
Some places have them, some don't. Some have coat hangers, some don't. And on your first swing, you take out what you think you're going to need to survive for your first swing. And I always made a list of, all right, because now you leave, especially if you've got a permanent room and you've left everything that you took, you leave there. Because I also have 2 sets of toiletries, so one always stays at work if I've got a permanent room and one stays home. So you don't have to lug everything back and forth, right? And depending on said finances, some people wait for their first pay before they do that. And so, things like coat hangers, the shower caddy, what's the bed like? Some people take underlays because it's hard as or lumpy. Some people take their own pillows. You can't take all of that first time. There's no way. You've got to have the room.
Because you've got to take your uniforms and your boots.
Yeah.
And like boots, look,
would you wear them?
Yes.
Because then they're
Yes.
lighter. Oh, I just thought of that.
Yeah, always wear your boots. First time, I'm a consultant, and so I may only go to a site and various sites for a couple of days at a time. I've had to learn to travel lighter, so I wear my boots, and you got to take them off, obviously, when you go through, which is a pain, through security, and then put them back on and your belt and everything. And you know how you get those little travel packs in the supermarket where you can have, there's 3 or 4 little bottles in there. So I decant shampoo, mouthwash, conditioner into those.
You wouldn't want to get those mixed up.
No. You might have a very clean mouth that you've conditioned.
Yes.
You know, because you've even basic toiletries, toothpaste, like you get the little tube. You know, for your first visit, and again, depending on what you're going out there to do, and for how long.
Yeah.
And
I've got one. What about just a normal toothbrush instead of electric toothbrush with a charger? That would save a bit of weight. Or you just couldn't live without an electric toothbrush?
Well, I take both now, only because one of my wisdom teeth is blown up and it hurts to use my electric toothbrush, so I do both. But sometimes you have to charge your toothbrush charger elsewhere because they haven't set it up properly in the bathroom. Oh, and for ladies or even men who, you know, now and again you need to look at yourself. Some of the mirrors, I'm short. All I can see is my forehead.
Yes, right.
I jump up and have a quick look and go, okay.
That's
and so I used to take I had my own little mirror that I would, because normally there's shelves in the wardrobes or there's somewhere you could prop a little mirror that's got a standy thing.
Yeah.
If you want to be putting your face creams on it or whatever. Some people take, you know, the little things where you can hang your smalls, like a little for clothes, and so they hang that over the shower and their smalls hang on that if they don't want to put them in the dryer, for instance.
To dry them.
Yes.
Yes, I remember we spoke about that on the podcast episode about laundry etiquette.
Yeah.
Last time you were here.
Exactly.
I was the one with bad cough.
Yes.
I had to edit out 1,000 coughs.
Yeah. But I've walked into some people's rooms and they've got actual proper line all the way across the room. So, that's out of control. Some places let you hang up your clothes outside your donga. Others don't anymore. Normally, that's the other thing to check when you first get there is how many laundries are there, where is it, and what's availability of laundry, so you can plan. When you first go, sometimes you might not have enough clothes because the onboarding, depending on how good it is, you may only have 2 shirts when you first get there because they're falling behind, right? And so, you know, making sure if you're someone who has sensitive skin, the clothes washing powders and things that they supply might not suit you. So you need to find out.
They would. They're horrible.
Some don't. Usually. I've never had a problem because it's just a big white thing. You just get a scoop and in it goes.
Yeah, right.
So if that doesn't, you know, if that gives you a rash or whatever, but it could be classed as a dangerous good, so you need to be careful and ask, how do I get, like, my own clothes washing stuff out there? And also on your first trip, do the recce run in the shop. Every site's got a shop and they sell toiletries as well. Not a lot, but they're getting better and better.
And are they ridiculous price or are they?
They're not too bad. The markup's not ridiculous. Some of it is.
Depends on the site, I suppose.
And because of today's technologies, you've got to also think about all your electronic stuff, you know, your chargers for your phone and chargers for whatever. If you've got headphones, if you want to take your own computer out there or your iPad, everything's got a charger. All this adds to the weight. And so you can I always take a backpack and I keep all that stuff in the backpack. You've got 7 kilo, between 5 to 7 kilo of what you can take inside the plane as carry-on. So that's on top of your 10 kilo bag that goes under.
Right, yes.
And so sometimes I've used that to take toiletries or heavy things I put in there. You know, if you're taking a book, but go out with the barest minimum and do the recce run. And so then you'll decide. And I always, before I went home, I'd have a little list what to bring back next time.
Like an ongoing list as you go through the swing, because you get home and you'll forget. You'll just be glad you're home.
Yep, absolutely, you forget. And, you know, sometimes different sites and different setups. So it's very important to find out, do I have a permanent room? It's very important to find out the weight ratio. Can I get 20 kilos permission to take, but make sure you take it in 2 10 kilo bags?
So why 2 10 kilo bags?
Because of various charter flights, that's the site rules, no more than 10 kilos. Now, whether it's because of capacity of storage, it's better to have lots of little bags, whether it's manual handling stuff, but I believe it's more about the capacity because they're not big 737s or anything, most sites. Some are. Some are about 100 is usually the max I've flown on, 100 people.
100 people.
Big plane.
What's the smallest?
5. No toilet, 3-hour flight, 5 people. Oh, my God. That was... where was that? Carrara, I think that was, when we were building Carrara. They changed that later when they built the airstrip. But, yeah, that was 3 hours, no toilet.
Wow.
Tiny little plane. And I think we're allowed 5 kilos or something ridiculous. So you could take 10 kilos. Some sites allow 15, but very rare. But you should get all of that in your onboarding, technically. So, yeah, if you wear your boots, that's a really big tip. Socks and things, yes.
I've got my hand up.
She has.
Because we're in here, see each other.
I know.
Oh, it's so good. What was the question?
Brain frog. I don't know.
No, you were talking...
Boots. I was talking about boots.
Yes.
Wear your boots.
So does that mean when you go through security you're going to beep and you have to take your boots off?
You have to take your boots off if they're still caps.
Yeah.
Everyone takes their boots off. But you put them on the other side.
Yes.
Yes.
But if you're a newbie, you might not think of that.
Yeah. Well, you'll hopefully...
Yes, wear them because of the weight.
Yeah, but I think I did say that earlier. You've got to take them off, so it's a pain.
Okay.
You take them off, they go through, you put them back on. Same with belts and things. And then you can leave your boots there. You get a permanent room. You don't have to worry about that. So the other trick is make sure if that's the case, you take one pair of, if you like, sneakers, a pair of thongs, pick your footwear. You've got to take basic things like that, quite obviously. But again, use your first swing to think about, well, this is no good. Don't leave your boots outside ever because of dingoes in some places will actually run off with them and take them to their cubs. Yeah, dingoes.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, there's packs of dingoes roam some camps and they love the leather and they love the boots and they tell you in all of the inductions not to leave your boots outside, but on most sites people do because they stink even for a couple of hours, or on most sites people just do, you see them lined up. But if there's dingoes in a place where there's dingoes, don't, because they take it. And I've gone to places where they've took me for a drive and shown me where the dens are and there's about 50 pairs of boots there because it's for the teething for the pups. And the mamas and papas take it and leave it for the pups to teeth.
There's a boot tree, all right.
Yeah. But, if you've got a permanent room, you can leave your boots there. So what I do, if I can't leave them outside, I put them in the bathroom because they're a bit woofy. So I leave them in the bathroom to air out overnight. Or I leave them outside, not in a dingo place, but another place. I leave them outside for an hour, but make sure I bring them in at night so that snakes, spiders, wasps, scorpions don't get in there, right? When it's muddy, I usually, get a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard so that you take your boots off and instead of walking mud through your room, you just take them off and put them there. And then you can walk around. Thongs and socks, because I'm bogan, seem to work well for me instead of, because you can't always take slippers and things like, I remember I took an umbrella once and someone said to me, there's no umbrellas in mining. So do take depending on said weather, do take a very light waterproof something because you may be walking from your room, depending on where it is. Most places don't have a covered walkway and it could be miles depending on the size of the camp and it might only rain, but you have to go because it's time to go to work.
Yeah.
So you can't wait for the rain to stop.
Yeah.
You may or may not be given your winter jacket usually get in summer, so you keep it for the next year.
Yeah.
So I always take a light with a hood rain jacket with me that you've got to take off as soon as you get to where you're going because it's not high vis. You've got your shirt underneath.
And because you don't want to, otherwise you're going to be wet for the next 14 hours or so. Yeah,
if you get absolutely drowned. So there is that. Yeah, there's things to take, like normally you can get a washing machine. Some people wash every night, depending on what. But I usually just take, a pair of trackies, a pair of comfortable 3/4 pants, some T-shirts, a flanny. But look up the weather, like you change what you take depending on the weather of where you're going.
Yeah. So
you don't keep your whole wardrobe. There's just no room, girls and boys who are fashion conscious. You can't have your entire wardrobe out there. Sadly, or goodly, depends how you look at it, the longer you are somewhere, the more stuff you bring. I've needed a truck to get out of there sometimes, like not literally, but if you take too much.
That was my point. If you've taken 20 kilos initially and then another 10 kilos each time of extra stuff.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to go, you get, one 10 kilo lot to get home, and then what happens?
Well, normally, unless you get a window seat, as in sacked, bang.
Yeah, like taken to the gate.
You talk to your admin people and say, look, I've got a lot of gear. And I've had boxes go out of there, but it comes as freight, and usually you've got to go pick it up somewhere, unless it comes on the plane. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but they might truck it out of there.
And do you have to pay?
No.
Or, no, they pay for that?
Yeah, they paid for that. But you might have to pay the other end if you don't go and get it, if they cure it out, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're there with them. If you get sacked, that could totally change.
Yeah.
I've never been sacked, touch wood. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
You can't see them paying for it if they've sacked you.
No. At the same time.
And they need the room.
Yeah, they need the room.
They need your shit out so they can clean it and get someone else.
And it may not come with you on the time when you fly out.
No.
You might, but if I've known, because normally you give notice if you're going to leave somewhere, or if the contract's ending, you got time. And so sometimes what I do then is I'll take some of it home intermittently.
Yeah, right.
When you go out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also when you're flying in and out, you can have 10 kilo every time. So, I used to bring home washing because time was precious. I didn't even want to wash.
Yeah, right.
At work, if I was there for a week, I had enough uniforms. I don't call them uniforms. You call them uniforms. I don't know what I call them. I don't call them work clothes. I'd just bring them home. People say, how can we take that big bag every time, even though it's 10 kilo? I'd say, because I do my washing. Why don't you do it here? I'd say, well, because I don't want to be sitting around waiting until 9:30 at night for my washing to dry.
Yeah.
So I just take it home.
A lot of people do that here as well.
Bring it home and wash. But, it's all about when you're washing your clothes on site, you don't go for tea first, don't go to the wet mess first, go straight and put it on.
Yeah.
So, A, you get a machine, B, it's already started. And then set a timer so you don't forget, because there's nothing worse than some idiot who's blocking up the machines.
Yes.
And people will, out of keeping the wheels turning, they will take your washing out and put it in the dryer. Now, we've done this in the laundry thing.
Yeah.
So I would advise, don't bring anything that needs to be hand washed or can't go in a dryer. If you do, then don't put it anywhere near the laundry. They do have troughs in the laundry, so you could do that.
Well, and not everyone's going to put it in the dryer, which is what we spoke about in that.
Yes.
Some of them will just dump it.
Yeah, but most people do. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But, other things to take, like your electronics, your toiletries. I always take a basic medication kit, as in just Codral Cold tablets, Panadol. That's about it. I'll make sure I take Codral Cold tablets and Panadol.
And are Codrals all right on it depends on site. Like,
they're not like
drug
they used
list.
to be. Yeah. If ever you go for a drug test, you just tell them what you've had in the last 14 days.
Yeah.
So, random drug test or whatever. But do tell your supervisor if you're, if you're taking something like that, just tell them. But they're very mild these days. But I always take headache tablets and Panadol, and I also always take clove oil in case you get toothache, because you just put a dab of that, and that can get you through until you get home to see the dentist.
Yeah,
that's a really good. That's a really good thing. But of course, you've got the medics there; they've got all that. But sometimes it's just a case you've got a headache, you take a tablet. You don't have to worry about where are the medics, what time. They usually
doing the paperwork.
Yeah, and some shops again do that, Recce. Some shops have got all that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But is the shop open? All the things. And the other thing that's new now is, because of COVID, is in WA anyway, most companies now, you've got to be rat tested within 24 hours before you go. And so if you're, getting sorted to pack and go to site, you've got to allow time lost, because you've got to find a place to get rat tested and all the rest of it. Or you may have, a lot of them have set up huge tents at the car parks at the airports now, the long-term car parks, or even at the airport. Some of them have got them. So you've got to get there way earlier. So you need to know all of these things, and you should know all of these things. But I keep my COVID certificate digitally, because there's a whole lot of things you've got to think about that we never had to think about, that we now are relearning what we need. Because some place, in WA, got to be triple vaxxed or you won't get on the site.
Triple vax?
Triple.
Wow.
Well, as soon as you're due, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be rack tested. And this is like, the rack testing is most sites that I know of. I haven't heard of one that isn't doing it. The government, it was a health order. So it's not companies, and it's statewide. It's like, you will, or you don't have a job.
Like here, it was just BMA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people left.
Yeah.
Gave up their permanent shirts and left.
Same.
But in WA, it was the government that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the companies went, yay. Not our fault.
We don't have to do.
But we did lose some people. Until the new vaccine come out, we lost some people because that latest one that is different to the first vaccines.
Yeah,
when
it's less.
Something. Some people came back when that happened.
Yeah. I'll just say, for the sake of the recording, that this is, end of May 2022.
Yes.
So that all could have changed.
Yes.
Well, look how much it's changed just since a few months ago.
It could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the moment, as we record this, and that's why it's important to find out what the procedures are. And if you are going through your onboarding process and you don't know, how many times you see on a Facebook site, like, does anyone know about this camp and that? And, and all those mining inquiries and everything came out that the onboarding processes are meant to be so much better to help all of this. So this shouldn't be happening, but sadly it's not always the case. Yeah. That's why we're here to help.
It is. And when it comes to, once you've done a swing, some sites let you have a kettle in your room. Some sites don't. And people who want hair dryers and the likes, it's a case of, when you can, I always get the travel size of all those things.
Yep.
Because for when you demob one day, eventually you may demob, or sometimes they make you move rooms.
Yeah.
And so you think about, how much stuff have I got? Some people keep their rooms very light, easy to just get my Snapchat bag and I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm only here to work and that's it.
Yeah, and others really nest and they bring photos to put up on the walls and make it lovely and all the things. But, the travel kettles, the travel hair dryers, they're really light and good. But,
Do they have to be tested and tagged?
Yes, some do, but they're mostly annual. And
so do they do that on site, or you find your friendly electrician, which someone said, a random bird out there?
Yeah. Well, again, these are the things like you just ask whoever, probably your safety widow term of love and respect, or your supervisor, say, look, if I bring a kettle, if I do that. And sometimes what they do is they'll go through a camp now and again and just test and tag everything in there because they've got to do the fridges and this and that. But, some sites are totally different. Some don't give a rat's as long as it's got the manufacturers. Others say annually they'll put an annual tag on it. Others won't let you have, you're not allowed to have candles, incense burners, toasters. You're not allowed to have any of that stuff because you may burn the place down. Others are a little more lenient. So you just never know. You can find all these things out, the creature comforts that you want. It's just go in. My biggest broad advice would be make sure you know all the things before you go, the weight limits and, the rest of it. Are you going to have a permanent room? And then if they tell you are, you might not for a couple of swings because they're sorting out stuff. You should, but don't take too much. And my broadest advice would be take a couple of swings to do your recce runs. Just take the basics, have a look around, look at the shop, look at your room, have a think, make a list. Oh, haven't got this. Oh, right, I might bring that back. What's your bed like? What's your pillows like? I always, no matter what, take my own pillow. Even on a 2-day visit, I take my own pillow.
So do you carry that on the plane?
Well, no, I've actually learnt to go. I bought a travel size ergonomic pillow. Like it's really small. It's only my big ones at home, but you can get smaller and smaller ones.
Which is the one that you've brought here?
Yeah. And
is that one?
Yeah. And I've learnt to travel so light now that it fits in the bag. You can take it on the plane. But you'll learn and you'll watch others. Some people, you can actually take a travel size, like a proper cabin size bag and a backpack inside the plane. And you've got a bag on the plane, right?
Yeah, right.
But
you don't want to take all that
first.
And then get there and they go, sorry.
Yeah, because a lot of people flying in and out, they don't want something on the plane because as soon as they land, they want to get.
Yeah. Because you've got to wait for your baggage otherwise.
Yeah, and so, that's pretty, but normally they real staunch about that weight and that size and all the rest of it. But yeah, just do your homework, find out as much as you can at first, take your basics and check out the shop, check out what you need, make your list. And if you haven't got a permanent room, excuse me, you can, and you've only got half a wardrobe, you know, you'll get used to, well, sometimes your bag doesn't even fit in there. Like it won't even fit in there because you're supposed to, you could maybe leave something hanging. So if you've bought a big bag, even if it's light, because there's not a size.
Oh, 10. Oh, right. Yeah, I wasn't thinking
You could have a big bag that's light. Because sometimes even when I'm consulting, I'm only going for 2 days, and they go, why are you bringing that big bag? I'm there, yeah, but look at this. Because it's got my pillow in it and it's got...
Yeah, but it's light. She's doing this as in it's
light. I'm lifting
up.
You can't see. But yeah, you know, it's not rocket science, but at the same time, I see so many people at the airport. You can tell they're new because their work clothes are brand spanking. And there they are in front of the whole world.
Do they have to take their hard hat as well?
It depends. Some people do.
Because I've seen them at the airport with their shiny white hard hat.
Some people do. Depends if they're client, contractor, coming for a shutdown. Are they permanent?
Yeah.
Most sites, if you're going to be permanent, they'll give you that when you get there, but they may do a on-site induction in town and give you all your PPE before you go, so you may have to take it. But I see a lot of people who are quite obviously new. I shouldn't assume that, but they're obviously new to that site. Their clothes are just so out of the box, brand new. They've got it all on, and they look a little bit lost. And there they are in front of the whole world. They give you the big green plastic see-through bag because they've got one bag and it's 20 kilo. And so they make them undo it in front of the whole world and put half their stuff, and it's see-through, into a bag and tie it up. And then they've got 2 things of 10. Now, maybe they weren't told or maybe they didn't read the fine print, but the whole world knows.
Yes.
I'm telling you now, you've got no excuse. No matter what your site says, go with 10 kilos if it's a charter flight. Right? If you're going on a big kick-ass plane to Newman or Laverton or something, that those rules still may apply. So just assume I can bring 2 bags, but they're 10 kilos. Or can I? Try and find out before you go.
So if you do go and you've messed up and they don't just make you throw all your stuff in the bin, they give you a bag to put it in, and they'll still let you take it?
Yes.
Right, because they know, what are they going to do? They're not going to store it for you until you get back or something.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And sometimes they'll do that if it's 4 kilo over.
Yeah. Or
3 kilo over. They get more staunch. Other people go, Funnily enough, the other end, when you fly out home, I've been probably 3 kilo over, and they're going, because they're not the airline. That's the site running the show.
Yeah, right.
And if there's not a lot of people on the plane, but still try and do the right thing. And they would do the same. If it was too much, they'd give you a bag.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's all downhill on the way home.
Well, that's right.
Now, the other thing I wanted to cover is, well, you just touched on it then, what happens when you get there. So do you have a normal ticket? Like at both ends, the rocking up, so you've got to allow time to get to the airport, something might go wrong, you've got to get a park. How are you going to drive there?
You may have to get a rat test.
You might have to get a rat test. Is there usually a big line? And then what happens when you get there? Do you get off the plane and go on a bus to camp, or do you have to get yourself there? Like those sort of things? Because I know a lot of that's different to here in Queensland.
Yes. Well, and I'm at the minute speaking for WA, but I have worked in sites all over the country. It's a long time ago now because I've been based here for quite a while. So there's various ways. Like, for instance, in WA we have regional airports. So we've got Cobham, Skippers, Network. And some sites, that's how they fly their people to and from on regional charter flights, which isn't at the main airports. It's not far away and they're all sort of together. And you go there and it's like normal, you've got to say. You haven't got any dangerous goods. They'll tag your bags. They'll give you all the things. You'll get a proper boarding pass, But again, allow the time. They've all got rat test tents set up. Others use Virgin or Alliance or even Qantas, depending where you're flying and which terminal are you going to. And you go there and sometimes the lines are out of control, like it's just a sea of high-vis. Out of control, especially early morning flights. Like you think, I have to get up I live in Mandurah, so I have to get up at 2 to leave at 3 to be there for 4 a.m. And the good news is when you get there...
And then you go to work.
And then you go to work and do 12 hours.
Wow, stuff that.
Yeah, when you get there, it's like, it's unbelievably busy and high, this ocean.
When you get where?
To the airport.
Yeah.
And this is lately I've been flying Virgin or Alliance, which is a branch of Virgin. And there's so many people and you think, well, the whole world's up at the dark side of breakfast. I feel a bit better. But sometimes the lines to check in, especially in those, it's not so bad in the regionals, are so long that they actually come and call people. Who's checking in here? Right, you front of the line. Because you're going to miss your flight.
And they'll do that at domestic terminals.
They do. Well, this is we are actually flying out of the proper domestic terminals.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right. There's terminal 1, 2 or 3, 4. And mostly it seems like 1, 2 is all high vis. Pretty.
Right.
There's a few civilians who just think, oh, my God, what have I got myself into? There really is. But, yeah, and you've got to get wristbands.
Wristbands?
Yeah, because to prove you've had your RAT test, to prove you've done your health declaration form, and I look around for different coloured wristbands. Oh, they're coming to my site. It's funny.
So that's new. They have different colours for different
sites
and
planes.
And plane gold.
Yeah. Because some, like one of the companies I'm working for, the RAT test is at a long-term car park, and then you've got to get a bus from there to the airport, and that bus, if you miss it or it's full, it's another 15 minutes before it comes around. And if you have left your time a bit late, because they're very staunch, it's tough titties, you miss cut-off or getting on that plane, they will not wait. Yeah. Goodbye.
Because they got to get these workers. Yeah. They got to get these workers who are there to start work.
Exactly.
And then do they? That same plane brings the people home.
It depends.
The shift change. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes some flights it comes in the morning. It might sit there all day, and then it comes home. Others have a flight in the morning, and then they offload, unload, and the night shifters go home. And then that very same plane, or if it's exactly the same plane, will come back and bring the other night shifters and take the other day shifters. They might have,
you're right,
like 2 planes a day, 4 flights.
Yeah.
And again, it just depends.
And that would be like once a week,
or twice or 3 times a week,
depending on
the size. Most very rarely do they fly Friday. It's usually Monday to Thursday, and you get to know which plane does who. It's like underground have this, or mealies usually, or maintenance usually go on this day. Where the contractors.
What was that? Mealies.
Millies.
Oh, mill. Oh, the mill. Yeah,
we got the plant.
Yeah, like the wash plant over here.
Yes. Yeah. But at the other end, my advice is follow the crowd.
The other end, we're back at the start again.
No, if you've managed to do all the right things and you're on your way to site,
yes.
When you get off, there are varying ways of how that works.
Now for a word from our sponsor, Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things. And you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumzie sent you.
And if you're not sure, just say to someone, I'm just going to hang with you because this is my first. And they go, yeah, no worries, mate, what do you do? Because some you have to they'll bring the bags out in a trolley and you got to load it. If there's a bus that takes you to site, which, probably 90% that's how it works.
Yep.
And it could be between 15 minutes away, 5 minutes away to an hour and a half, depending on where you work. There's not very many sites where the plane lands right at the camp. There's 2 that I know of, and that's really weird. Like, literally, there's an airstrip right there, and you could see the doggers.
At the camp,
it's freaky.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No bus. But mostly there's some form of transport that will get you from wherever the airstrip is, and especially flying into a hub like Newman or Laverton or Leonore or somewhere, and there's the trick is get on the right bus. Pick someone out on the plane that you know and make sure you have a conversation with them. Are you going to blah, blah? And even some sites have 2 different camps. or 3 different camps.
Yeah.
So make sure that you get your stuff and you get on the right bus. Right? So you ask, don't be scared. People look after you. And some places, they actually bring a trolley and there's all the bags and you go and pick up your bag and put it in the bus, then you get on the bus. Others, it just miraculously arrives with you when you're at the other end because they've got all the people doing all the things.
Yeah.
So again, your first swing will be take all of that in. And it's the same the other way when you're checking in, right? Do not miss that check-in from site because
this is when you're coming home?
Yeah, they might wait 5 minutes, but the whole busload of people will never forgive you.
Yes.
Don't be last. Do not be last, especially if you're new, because they'll be like, oh, right then. And they will never forget that you made us. Really? How can you be late for your going home flight? Now, some people have actually missed it, which I don't get because they got on the grog the night before. So you may be breathoed that's the other thing, when you're flying home, depending on how much time you've got. Most sites these days don't give you a great deal of time to be ready. Get ready the night before, have your stuff packed. Find out before you fly home how much time have we got. Yeah. You may or may not have time for a shower. Some sites are really whip.
Yeah.
Like,
so you finish work, get on the bus, get on the plane, go.
Yes. Normally they take you back to camp, but there's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Camp,
Others, there's plenty of time. So you need to know that. But what I would do is always get your stuff ready the night before so that if there's not a lot of time, you're ready to go. You don't be rushing around, and try and always empty your bin, leave your room as nice as you can for the cleaners. Because if you do that, they'll look after you.
Well, yeah.
I sometimes used to leave a little chocolate on the bed and say thank you. Not all the time, but
I've shared lots of pictures of stuff like that I've done. Little Easter eggs at Easter and things. And they look after you, like you said, right?
And some camps, when you get to where you're going, you then, once you're in the swing of it, like one camp's got this big, massive cabinet and everyone lines up and their keys are already hanging there. Some camps let you take your room key home with you, bring it back. Most camps make sure you've always got your room key and you drop it off.
Yeah,
that's sort of how they check you in or out. But it's different on every camp. But if you are one of the lucky ones who is allowed to take your room key, keep it. Don't leave it home. Quite sounds silly, and sometimes you'll get a swipe card, which is very, very important business because the swipe card is what you do breathos on every day. Some camps, you can't even get in and out of camp without it because they've got special turnstiles. Like, that's very, very important business too, to make sure you take it to and from, because you're going to go through the ringer to obtain it, all the things, all the inductions, it's a major thing that's got to stay with you. Very, very special business.
And because when you scan it, because we have those here as well, most sites, and it'll also pop up if one of your inductions needs renewing or an SOP or something. Like your everything revolves around that. And like you say, making the boom gate open so you can go home, get into camp and get out.
Yes.
And if you're the one, because we're drive out a lot, or even holding up buses, because you can't get in.
Exactly. You're not allowed to take alcohol to sites. It's part of the deal on the charter flights. If you're driving in and out somewhere, they do random bag searches. That can be instant dismissal. You're not allowed to take grog. Do some people? Probably. I wouldn't run the gauntlet there if I was you.
Especially if you've just started.
Well, exactly. Don't take grog. They sell grog. Just know that most sites now is mid-strength only, and only 4 per person per day is sort of how it's all changed now. It used to be 6. It used to be full strength, and a lot of the sites are now coming on board with the mid-strength only and 4 per person per day, and they literally record your name either manually or they will have the card. Some sites are doing fridge checks, because if you don't drink before and you're stashing for your shift change or your pyjama day, whatever you're calling it over here, depending on your roster, you could lose it and you could get in big trouble. So find out all the rules around all the things with that. But yeah, you'll figure it out. It's not hard, but it can be. You can get there and go, oh, really? I thought they would give me this or that. Which they may not. But yeah, and the other thing is, and this is going off of what to take to, but some people have no idea how to live in a camp. What I mean by that is, don't ever slam your door. Don't walk out and just push it shut, close it nicely. Don't drag your chairs around. on the floor. Be careful. Some places, when you have a shower, shut the bathroom door, put the fan on, because sometimes a smoke alarm will go off when you're having a shower. If you leave the bathroom door open, if they're sensitive, and the whole block has to get evacuated and you're in the shower, in the nude. So shut your door until you know.
And I've been in the shower and someone's walked in my room.
Yeah.
Because they're in the wrong room.
Yeah, that happens. So lock your door. And you'll know if you're on doing shift work whether they've got decent blackout curtains. So the next trip you might bring some alfoil to put up. Are you allowed? Some places don't let you anymore. If not, say, well, what can I do? What am I allowed to do? Because I can't sleep. Some have got really good blackout curtains now. Don't be, if you got your telly and you're putting it on sleep, don't have it too loud. Most camps now have excellent Netflix. You name it, they've got everything, 100,000 channels. But do they? Some don't. Yeah. Some don't even have a telly, depending if you're a contractor or what you're doing. So, what's the Wi-Fi? There's so much to learn. And you'll learn it all pretty quick. And
you don't, this is our passion, is to help you know a lot of this possibilities and what questions to ask and a bit of an insider's look before you start. Or maybe you've been, imagine me, I've been in mining for 13 years and then I get a job over in WA, fly in, fly out, and I know there's a lot of people that change state and never done FIFO. I put all my shit in my car and drive.
Exactly.
So
that'd be a rude shock for you.
Yeah, that's right. So this is really helpful. And then once you start doing it, then you do it your way. And you might already have been doing FIFO, but now you're going to a new site, and these tips are just gold. Thanks.
Oh, you're so welcome. There's probably a lot more to talk about, but that's about the main things, I think. Just ask. People will help you. Don't be scared to say, look, it's the first time on this site, if you don't want to say first time on any site ever, which is still fine. You say, what do you do at the other end? Or just follow them and say, is this bus going to, I'm going to blah, blah, is this bus going there? Oh, will the bags come out? And some people at some places, they get off the plane, they go to the loo, there's a big line, and I haven't seen a lot of sites do a checklist of who's got off the plane to head count who's on the bus.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. And I'm like, I wonder how many people have been left behind because of the line, or, some people don't like going to the loo on the plane if they can help it.
Yeah.
I'm one of those.
Well, so what if there isn't a toilet on that thing?
No, yeah. Most of them have now, but yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, my God.
And so there's a lot to think of, but people will look after you. Don't be scared to ask, but try and remember what you've seen so you can rinse and repeat for the next time.
Yeah, even if you write it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But none of it's that hard.
What about on the plane?
Well, yes, there is. We are the best mergers on the planet. What
do you mean by that?
Well, someone the other day, the whole plane, we were all looking at each other going, newbie or arsehole. Because what you don't do, and everyone should know this because I think this is how it rolls on normal civilian flights, but when I flew over here, I looked and I thought, you guys are really learners. You got no idea how to do anything. What I mean is we know how to file in and out of it. Right. Yeah, we know how to get off a plane the fastest way and the most courteous way possible.
Oh, right, yes, to make it smooth and happen.
You've got your shit sorted.
Yeah.
Before the seatbelt sign even goes off, you've already packed your backpack. If you're on the outside one, when the seatbelt sign goes off, you stand up and you get your thing out and you ask, oh, mate, do you want me to give you yours? Bang.
Right.
If he's got one up there. Some people say, no, I'll get on the way out, and that's fine. That's up to them. But no matter what happens, you do not leave until the people in front of you have left. Have got up, and unless they're actually sitting there and they quite obviously not in a hurry, you just say, yeah, go. But what some people do is they stand up and very rare, but this is broken rule, and then they walk from the back of the plane and they walk up, because some people they don't always stand up. They're sitting there, and the reason they're sitting there is they're waiting for their turn.
Yeah, right.
Right? Do not ever leave before the row in front of you has left. But be ready, because it's beautiful. Bang, bang, bang. We just merge. And do not sling your backpack on your back while you're in the plane. Because you're going to smack someone in the head.
Yeah, right.
That's a newbie mistake.
So hold it
in front of you until you get to the big door, then look behind, then sling it.
Right.
Some people still do that. It's like, dickhead. And when they're coming on the bus, especially when you get on the bus, don't have it on your shoulder, on one shoulder as you're walking down, because that person on that is very small. They're going like this. Hold it in front of you.
Going like what? Describe what you just did.
I'm just doing my head going bang, bang, bang. It's
getting hit in the head, yeah.
Now,
or are you right?
Yeah, and some people who are very seasoned vets and FIFO, as you can see, still don't get that. It's like you've just hit 5 people in the head with your backpack and you don't even understand you've done that.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but some people, and I don't understand this, they don't use their earphones when they're on the bus listening to whatever crap, and we've got to listen to it, and everyone's looking at them thinking, really?
I hate that.
Some people have their earphones in and you can still hear it, but okay, never mind. At least they're
trying.
But yeah, it's all good. You'll figure it out. And you'll love it. I love FIFO.
What do you do when you're on a long flight? Do you read a magazine, take a book, watch a movie?
Yeah, I usually watch something I've downloaded on my phone. People take iPads. Some people actually work. Yeah, make sure your electronics are in your carry-on. Some flights are only an hour and a half. Some flights are way longer than that. Just because you're on Virgin or Alliance doesn't mean they've got to have the entertainment app going on that particular charter flight, because it's not a plane where it's only minors on that plane. Yeah. So depending on some deal, they may or may not. They've only just started feeding us again. That could stop at any time depending on COVID. They only give you a bottle of water or a drink. Sometimes they gave you nothing except a bottle of water when you walked on the plane. That was it.
Yeah.
Got to wear your mask. Make sure you take mask. Take a couple of masks. They will supply masks for you if you haven't got a mask, but they'll just be the paper ones. But on a long flight, most people watch or listen to something, or readers read. Some people have a reader, like a Kindle. I don't know if they're still called that. Some people work because they're higher up and they need to get shit done. Some people actually have their computers out and they're working.
Finishing their workshop before they land to go and present it.
Possibly. There's all sorts of stuff. It's like a normal... Podcasts. People listen to podcasts, like Beers with a Miner, possibly. It's a really good podcast.
Do you want to tell that story?
Which one? My
Mad Mumzie.
Yeah, I was sitting next to a lady on a plane. We're going to work to site. I'd known her for a while. We got on famously. Something came up about podcasts. And I said, do you know Mad Mumzie? She went, oh, yeah, Beers with the Miner. I've been following that ever since it started. I said, really? She goes, yeah. I said, that's my sister. And she went, yeah, Mad Mumzie, Beers with the Miner. I said, yeah, that's my actual sister. Like, my sister. She goes, she's my Mad Mumzie. I've been listening to her from day one. I said, what part of she's my sister don't you get? She goes, she's my sister too. I've been listening to her. And took me ages to convince, but she's my Mad Mumzie.
Oh, my God.
And now she gets that you are my blood sister. And even though I think she did hear that, and even when I got through to her in that very conversation that you're my blood relative sister, she still said, I don't care, she's still my Mad Mumzie.
Oh, my God.
It was hilarious, right?
That is so funny. And I couldn't believe it. And this is in Western Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm over here in where am I? Queensland. It was just, that blew my mind. And then whenever that lady's name has come up about what, stuff on side or whatever.
It's my Mad Mumzie.
I wouldn't even know what her name is. It's just my Mad Mumzie. Yeah, that's her name.
That's it. No, I won't say her name, but I do know her name. She's lovely.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so good.
My voice is going. Have you got any more questions?
No, I think that's pretty much covered it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, well, I think we went off on a few tangents, but most people, like, not trying to offend anyone, you would have probably done all those things and figured it all out. And for people who've done it before, think, why would you even mention that? Of course, everyone knows that. But some people don't.
Well, they don't.
Know the simplest things, because there's a lot to take in. There's a lot, especially if you're brand new to it. There's a lot of stuff to take in, don't put your seat back. Do not put your seat back. Have a look behind you. If no one's there, good luck. Then put your seat back. But look around. They're sort of pretty crammed flights. And if it's a short flight and you don't need to, don't put your seat back. If you look around and no one's got their seat back, don't put yours back. And it can be uncomfortable sitting upright. But that's, again, a thing we do for each other, because some of those planes are pretty tight.
Yeah.
If you got someone short behind you and you could ask them, do you mind if I put my seat back? That's okay. But most people on most flights I've been on with minors, no one puts their seat back. And if someone does, they just look at each other and go,
cockhead.
Newbie. Or cockhead.
Yeah. Because some people just don't care.
No, they don't care.
No. They got no etiquette. Yeah.
They don't care. And it's not to say you can't, but maybe just courtesy say, do you mind if I put my seat back?
Yeah,
and
that's
most people would say, yeah, even if it does squash them, they probably say, because you asked. You know. So, anyway.
And then I find I haven't, I'll say brain frog. The putting my seat back on when I've flown, and then when it's time to land and you've got to put your seat back up, and it can take freaking another hour before you land sometimes. I remember coming into Perth airport one day and I'm like, gee, it's taken forever. But the guys that we were with, or that I was with, they knew that we'd flown around Perth 3 times.
Exactly.
They said, I'm like, yeah, that does look familiar. I thought it was taken forever. And so, but because you've had, and especially that was like a 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
So you've had your seat back and then you have it up and it just feels so wrong. Whereas if you just leave it up, you get used to it.
Yeah. But on like, because I'm so habitually don't put my seat back, even on flying over here for 5.5 hours, I didn't put it back.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because on domestic flights, I'm going to put my seat back because everyone else does.
Yeah.
And if everyone seats back, that's different.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a bit more room.
Yeah, that's right.
But
and we're small too, so that helps.
So, yeah, but anyway, Thank you.
That. Oh, and I will just share that my blister is over here in Queensland.
Yay.
First time in how long?
I think 4 years.
4 years. So we've got our family boots on.
Absolutely.
Yes. And hopefully we'll record another What Boots podcast at some stage. We'll have a listen to this and see how your voice sounds.
See how my voice sounds.
Yeah,
yes.
if it passes. So if you want more of my blister, Drewie, go back through I'll share the link in the show notes because I will release this as podcast.
Oh, will you?
I will. I've just decided it's freaking gold, man.
She does that to me all the time. I just go blah, 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 thinking, no, I'm just going to type something up from this.
Yeah, and put inside my start date course. But, no, this is gold.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So listen to our What Boots podcast. Head to the show notes. I'll do another thing for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We should get out of our pajamas now.
We should.
Okay,
bye.
Love you. You hang up. I'm not hanging up.
No, you hang up.
Because we're together.
This is Beers with Minor podcast.
It is. I don't care.
But we still do it.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this, listen to What Boots.
Yes.
And follow Steel Cap Sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you. See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
There you go. I told you it was great, right? Oh, and for my newbies out there, it gives you a bit of a taste to help you with your decisions. If you want to go through all that every single time you go to work, might be every week if you're week on, week off, or it might be every 2 weeks, every month, 6 weeks, depending on, your roster and what you're doing. So, bugger that. I'd rather just get in my car and drive for 2 hours. That's me though. So if you want to find out more and follow us together as Steel Cap Sisters, listen to the What Boots podcast and find us on all the things at steelcapsisters.com and all the social medias, I mean. So also she went back and we're all, COVID's gone, back to work. Mum's still a bit crook, but she's turned some big corners, so that's really good. And now we've pretty much all had it. So there's that. And one thing that did come out is that apparently over there, once you've had COVID, you don't have to do all those things that she just shared with you about doing the rat test before you get on the plane for 3 months at this time of recording, which is June 2022. And it could change, by tomorrow. So, but, so that's kind of the silver lining
I guess, is that every time she goes to fly, she doesn't have to worry about that. But you do have to have the official thing, piece of paper or something, I guess, that says I had COVID on this date, so I get the free pass onto the plane. The times we live in, right? Anyway, head to the show notes to find out how to follow my sister. We're really focusing a lot over on LinkedIn, so look for Steel Cap Sisters, and also, of course, Mad Mumzie's Miners page are over there. And you can see us, the people. It's a lot more professional over there, though. Not like running amok on a podcast and Facebook and Instagram. Oh, and we are also on, what's the other one? On the TikTok. We're on TikTok at Steel Cap Sisters, and I'm at the Real Mad Mumzie on there. So that's a bit more fun. That's a lot more fun. And I've been recording actual, not just cartoons or feet or the view with me talking. I've actually been turning the camera around and speaking into putting myself out there. So, because I want to help more people. And at the moment, that seems to be a way to do it for me, because, you know, I'm a little bit over the F-book effort, but I'm still there. So find me on there, and if you love this episode, please share with your mates. And you know, like, it's never going to end. And last week we had the first International Day of Women in Mining. It was amazing. I was honoured enough to be one of the photos of the people around the world that they shared. I was actually the first one this year, so proud. I cracked myself, well, not literally, obviously, but I was sitting in a chair in the sun, having my first coffee inside, about to meditate. Oh no, it would have been after meditating. And I saw on LinkedIn a picture, and I'm like, that's me in front of a truck. Who's that? Where did they get that? And it was International Women in Mining. And that was the first post they did promoting their upcoming event, which was going to be in a few months. And since then, they shared lots of other people. And I submitted that photo way back in, I think it was 2018 or something. So that was a surprise. And they've been a real champion for women around the world. And, you know, I'm all for the men as well. So I'm not just about women in mining, but obviously it's very near and dear to my heart. And they had an online Zoom call with about 500 people on there. And I joined. It didn't even start till 11 o'clock at night. And we had, you know, I mean, it could have been 2 o'clock in the morning, because I don't even know where they were based, but it was somewhere overseas. And I'm here in central Queensland. I had to go to work the next day. And I didn't go to bed till 1:30. But it was great. At 12 o'clock, they had a dance competition, a dance. I don't say dance, I say dance. They had a dance competition, and they got everyone up dancing on video, and there was prizes and all the things. And I was having so much fun. The music was amazing. It was like real, I don't know the words, it was sort of Latino, Spanish, something or other, funky music like I never listened to. But it just made your body move. And then watching all these people around the world, and they were just going off tap. It was so funny. And people putting their hard hats on their heads. So I got in the groove, and I was dancing and had my hard hat on my head, and different coloured hard hats. And I ended up getting my teddy out with the pink high vis that I won at the Queensland Mining Expo in 2017 or something. I won that. I was lucky enough to win that. And so he sits loud and proud, or she, I don't know, non-gender. That teddy sits loud and proud in my studio. So I was dancing away, and I didn't get a prize, but I didn't care, because I had so much fun watching all these people from all around the world, different cultures, dancing. And some of them were like other international, because they're a network, right? International Women in Mining are the global body, I think, and then each country and different states and different, areas have their own little chapter. And so some of them had a meeting. So there's like 10 of them all in someone's lounge room, and they're all dancing and going off. Oh, my God, it was so much fun. I have not had that much fun for ages. And it was midnight. And then there were some beautiful, inspiring talks by women of all different experience levels and different viewpoints that were just so full on and amazing. I've got to follow them all up, and I want to, connect with them if I can. And then there were a couple of blokes on there as well, which was great to hear their point of view. And one of them was a big head honcho from some mining group that oversees the big mining companies, I think, and they had a big announcement as well. So overall, that was fantastic. And I think I might edit this and put it at the front because otherwise you won't hear it. And so now, this was going to be at the end, but you can hear it at the start, and then you can listen to chat with my sister. Or maybe I won't. No, don't. Leave it at the end. Oh, you clown. Okay. Love you, see you, bye. Stay safe, be real, be special. Keep your bogan, we are, our bogan feet on. Stop saying goodbye, Leanne. Okay. Love you, see you, bye.